Why do we have to support Israel? What have they done for us? Same with Ukraine. What have they done for us? The amount of brainwashing I see is astounding on all sides. I used to support Israel because I didn't understand that nationwide the media and even the churches have been pounding it into our heads that Israel is and are God's people. It wasn't until I did some research and found out that they think they are. But other religions don't think the same. They don't think they're God's people. Neither does the non-religious either, the atheists. So why do we have to honor this? For decades, I have watched atheists protest to remove religion out of schools, government, and the like. This is fine by me. Religion should be something that is practiced at home, a personal thing. The reasoning is it could get too much power by a majority using bias for gain. For the longest time, I was against Thomas Jefferson and his letter to Congress that he copied and the letter to the Dadbury Baptists suggesting the separation of church and state. His reasoning was about celebrating British traditions which were Catholic and at that time offended a lot of the Republic as they were trying to get out of British control. Religion. Perhaps he was trying to say religion was being used for control and that should not happen. So I get it. Since it was a letter, it never made it into Congress as law. But it is being touted as law, just like the word democracy is being pushed, when in reality the Constitution says we are a republic. Not Republicans, but a republic. And keep in mind, I am not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. I used to be a Republican until I learned that they no longer represent my values. Neither does the Democrats. This is because I believe they both work hand in hand to destroy my values and freedom. I do not believe they care about freedom of speech as we witnessed with the execution of TikTok. They never seemed to agree on anything, but within one day of the Anti-Defamation League request, they all unanimously came together and passed an anti-Semitic law. This is religion being used to justify a law. Don't you think? There is no wisdom here. If I want to hate a country for murdering women and children, I should be able to hate the country. Hate speech is control and power so that we cannot speak against those that commit genocide. Now you know why they push this so hard. I don't care what people want to believe in, or nor do I want to convert them to my own belief system. You be you, I'll be me. There is wisdom there, don't you think? We have watched a religion destroy nations for thousands of years over a religious belief system. Well, that has to stop. Last night, I was debating a person about the Bible. They stood their ground, and I admire that. But I just didn't agree with their ideology. Not because it didn't make sense, but because I saw a control mechanism, like hate speech. And since I have a fascination with mind control, I realized whatever I said with reason or justification, their belief system and conditioning overpowers my opinion. I decided long ago to escape those walls of religion, especially now since Israel is making use of social media, conditioning for their own genocide. TikTok is censoring pro-Palestine and pushing pro-Israel. I'm seeing it. Aren't you? This is the reason for the TikTok ban. The government lost its power for a moment as the people started seeing the real truth for the first time. A moment of clarity, which I hope made enough of an impact for our current time to evaluate if our opinions have been truly altered. Since K-12 has been the main contributor, It will be hard to convince the next batch of kids who didn't see the window of opportunity. Israel used to be part of the Ottoman Empire, known as Palestine. After World War I, the empire lost, and Palestine was one of those states. The Rothschilds purchased the land and started a religious movement of control, known as the State of Israel. The Palestinians fought hard to keep their land, but Israel eventually overpowered them. They were then placed in a temporary hold in Gaza, until recently, where Israel decided to push them down south for purposes of a canal and the natural gas reserves that are underneath it. The genocide that people are talking about is the Palestinians, which have no country, no UN charter, no army, no generals, and no way of defending itself against a nuclear-powered Israel. Hamas has been proven to be an Israel creation thanks to WikiLeaks. Go look it up. Israel is controlling both sides of their own genocide. And there is enough evidence that even congressmen and senators have helped the creation of the supposed terrorists called Hamas. The actual innocent people of Palestine were duped by Israel, whom is controlling their own opposition for eradication and ethnic cleansing. Many musicians and actors have talked about this, all to reach deaf ears. For example, Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, Mark Ruffalo of the Marvel franchise, Susan Sarandon, to even Billie Eilish. Recognizing that these are all entertainers and actors whose handlers most likely force them to support causes, we can keep them at arm's length. But they could have access to intel we do not, and could be trying to warn the people of the current blood sacrifice we are witnessing today. Even a captive can be heard screaming from an abandoned house every once in a while. My point is, to all of this, is this. We are watching a well-orchestrated mind control operation that ran into its first glitch. TikTok inadvertently or purposely gave the people a voice for a short period of time. This window of opportunity is fading, and if the people allow the conditioning to continue, we could lose our chance at real freedom. I don't like nor support Israel and their crimes against humanity. The international courts have issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu, and Washington, D.C. has threatened those courts. That has never happened in the history of the United Nations. America has been taken hostage by some outside force, and for some reason, China has allowed us to break free from the control for a small amount of time. I can only pray it worked.